Join Musicians for Freedom on ICRN-Radio every Sunday at 3 p.m. MDT and 10 p.m. UK time for guests and political music live from the Colorado studio.
UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network. Yes, hello, Karen.
Detlev.
Yes,
We're back.
Why don't you? Yes, we are live, and please go ahead and welcome Sharlene.
All right, folks, we have a treat today. Yes, Sharlene Holt from Musicians4Freedom. Hi, Sharlene. It's good to be back here, and it's good to have you back with us on the program.
Hi, Karen. It's great to be here today. We didn't quite manage to get it going on last week, but everything sounds great today, and we've got a full house. We've got Alin Karna, you've got Vinny Eastwood, you've got Detlev over there producing from Switzerland. Let's see, me and Tom are here in Colorado. And then I heard a rumor that Max Egan is going to join us second hour. Is that right?
Well, as far as we know, Max Egan will be coming up the second hour, and in the first hour, we have all the guests that you mentioned. We're going to have live music. Are you going to be playing live for us today as well, Sharlene?
Wow. I don't know. I haven't even gotten my guitar out recently. I've been kind of busy moving, as you know, unpacking and that sort of thing. So, but I'm definitely going to pick my flute up. That's pretty easy. And, maybe we'll see. We've got, I guess Alin Karna plays and sings, and then Tom Satriano is here with a couple of songs that he wants to sing for us too.
You forgot to mention Vinny. Vinny's here with his spoons, all the way from New Zealand.
Yeah, my girlfriend likes it. My girlfriend likes it when I spoon.
I have no doubt. Well, you know what would be cool right now? Since you've got Tom Satriano.
See, it's the pot belly. It fits into the small of her back, you see?
Belly dancing. Hey, that's new. Well, we haven't had belly dancing yet.
Well, look,
it's hard to kind of do the whole belly dance routine on radio kind of thing. Like, you've got to move your hips in such a way that they produce a sonic boom so that people know what's going on.
All right, before we get too much further into that,
that will get rid of.
I'm willing to dive off,
Here we go. Listen, Tom, you have a United We Strike song, and since we're encouraging people to flash crash the Fed tomorrow, there's your other term. So we're going to look for a song from you called Flash Crash the Fed. I have no doubt you can do that well. But why don't you share with us live right now, coming from Colorado, your United We Strike song to kick things off, and then we're going to get into some more talks, and we're going to hear Alin, who's set up to go too.
Okay, United We Strike, and we have to spell it first. U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! Once again, U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! I'm alright with United We Strike. Stand in line with United We Strike. Join the fight with United We Strike. 'Cause we need the millions of working class people who've had enough of being treated like sheeple. So all together rise with United We Strike. What's that spell? U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! U-N-I-T-E-D-W-E, strike! You're jumping, I'm alright with United We Strike. Stand in line with United We Strike. Join the fight with United We Strike. 'Cause we need the millions of working class heroes who've had enough of being less than zero. So all together right with United We Strike. Don't fight. Don't comply. Ask why. Do what's right. Don't bite. Don't comply. Ask why. Join the fight. I'm alright with United We Strike. Stand in line with United We Strike. Join the fight with United We Strike. All together rise with United We Strike. United We Strike. Yeah, that's gonna be a punk rock. It's really kind of some frantic song. We've got Chris Farnworth is here too, just joined us in right before I was getting ready to start the song. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
So anyway, United We Strike, people.
Yes.
Yay!
And united is that key word there. That is that key word, united.
That is the
Absolutely.
only silver bullet.
That
Unity.
is the silver bullet. Well said, Karen.
So, thanks, Tom. I was hearing you did some changes in that. I'm hearing part of the twist and shout and a little bit of tequila thrown in there. All good stuff for United We Strike. Yay!
Things are evolving. I mean, it's kind of been funny. I've been working on this stuff while I've been coming on the radio, and like even We Are Change has changed. But We Are Change. I'm all about change, and it includes my music as well. I thought I deemed my chorus a little bit too long and a little too. I wanted more sing-along ability kind of thing, so I hacked it and added another little deal, and so I'll be debuting that new chorus to We Are Change whenever you want me.
Cool.
That's
Well,
so nice, Tom. That's great.
Yeah,
There's no beginning and there's no ending. There's only change.
there you go.
Until you get in the studio, then it's the ending, and then you like it or leave it, But that's going to work out great. So I'm all excited about this and more things. There's been a lot of things happening in Denver too. I hope we have time to talk about here. Quickly there's a big Agenda 21 deal going on here in our rural area called Fort Collins, Colorado. That's about an hour's drive, 60 some miles outside of Denver. And, about 8 or 10 We Are Change type people went and were witness to the runaround that this poor girl is getting this poor lady is getting in a courtroom and between the sheriffs and the courtroom. Anyway, and then we also had 9/11 come here in some sort of U.S. salute where they had steel from one of the buildings on a flatbed truck with a big flag draped over it, color guard and all this kind of stuff. So, of course, the We Are Change crowd came out there with our banners of 9/11 is an inside job and whatnot. And boy, it got pretty heated. There's some people that really, especially those people that show up at those very
It got heated, did it? Did it go above 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit as well?
Yeah.
It was melting.
We could smell thermite. We just couldn't find it.
Yeah, just by kooky coincidence. Just by kooky coincidence, the piece of steel they had didn't have any nanothermite damage. So I don't know how that even happened.
Yeah, it's a nice clean piece of steel there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then, and then Channel 12, our public TV station here, for the only TV station in the country, showed Press for Truth, 9/11 Press for Truth Thursday night. And I was happy enough and honored to be part of the phone bank there. And they also released the new information of Richard Clark, the once terrorist czar, basically saying that George Tenet and the CIA kept a lot of information from him for 1 year, thus, allowing the strike to happen. So we have our first government official basically saying the CIA did it. So we'll see. I didn't see it on the nightly news. Funny that was, but we'll see if it gets any legs, and maybe some others will come out from the underground and say I'm ex-CIA, and that is what happened. So we'll see.
They must have dismissed it, Tom.
It was a big week in Colorado, though, nonetheless.
Well, maybe
they just switched to Sesame Street. Today's show is brought to you by the letters C, I, and A.
Yeah, the cocaine import agency.
That's good too, Alan.
Oh, another paper corporation.
Well, maybe they'll have that clip available. Do you have that? Can that be made into a YouTube so we can all try and spread that around where we actually have evidence that the CIA was, we all know that the CIA was involved, but for those people who don't.
I'm trying to think of the website that there is a website. It's the producer.
From the Wilderness. From the wilderness.com, Mike Rupert, he was actually recruited for the CIA while he was working narcotics in LA. And he found out later on that they were shipping in copious quantities of cocaine and laundering the money through the New York Stock Exchange. Because if you have a company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, you know how if you and I or Karen, we go into a bank and we give them 10 grand or something, we have to file out a little form that tells us where our money came from. Well, you're exempt from doing that if your company is on the New York Stock Exchange. So incidentally, about $500 billion in cocaine drug money is funneled through major US corporations like Pepsi and Coke, and incidentally.
Walmart, Kmart.
Oh, yeah. Special Kmart.
Yeah.
It's all such a huge, horrible scam. But we're waking up, and it's nice to have music with us. And Tom, we do want to hear your We Are Changed, but we also want to hear now from Alin Karna, and you are in the UK. He's got a studio. He's working on music, and I'm working on a song with him that hopefully we'll have put together in the not-too-distant future called War Will Cease. But now, Alin, why don't you tell us about the song that you are going to perform in your website as well?
Okay, well, do you know what I've done? I've detuned my guitar to 8 down by 8 hertz and 432. Here we are.
Okay.
Is that all right? You can hear that?
Yes.
That sounds great.
I've had this guitar since I was 9 years old. It's like part of my body. This is a song called Sovereign. And sovereignty is what it's all about. And it's not just nation sovereign states that are under threat by the New World Order and the Illuminati and scumbags, but it's also our individual sovereignty. Okay, so I wrote a song about it just called Simply Sovereign, and here it is. Much better than fear, timelessness and non-duality. Timeless and... Sorry about the words. Unity consciousness. You know that you are truly sovereign in your heart. You know you're something special, yeah. And no one can really hurt you. You're free to roam and be your love. And love, so much better than wars that only benefit the few. So afraid of what they've made. World where lies are told as truths. You know that you are truly sovereign in your heart. You know you're something special, and no one can really harm you. You're free to roam and be your love. Truly sovereign in your heart. You are a co-creator, yeah. No one can really hurt you. You're free to roam and be your love. That's just the short version.
Yay!
Beautiful.
We loved it. We loved it on this side of the pond, Alan.
Yep.
Thank you. It's a bit rough.
All right, how's it?
I've only just wrote it, so I don't know how to sing the damn thing.
Hey, it's good enough for us, I assure you.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that when you're in the background doing things or whatever, when you finish the product, you notice all these things that are wrong with the thing that you've made, and nobody else notices because they didn't make it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So don't sweat it is the message.
That was so beautiful.
Well, so I think that's probably one of the artists' tool belt things that I carry. You know, whenever I do a video or a song or whatever, I'm cognizant of the fact that if I make a mistake in it, nobody's going to notice. So I don't worry about making them.
Don't let the fear paralyze you, you know? I always do that. I just get up and do it, you know? I mean,
Don't you
no
know
matter
there's
what.
so many truthers out there who are not getting off their ass, not going and ambushing politicians, not making a website, because they're afraid that they might get it wrong. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're not doing anything, you've already got it wrong, so you can't get any more wrong.
Good point.
That's right.
Exactly. Just do something.
I mean, are you going to be a part of the solution or part of the problem? And like someone said many thousands of years, whenever, hundreds of years ago, good men, the reason why the Evilarchy get away with it is because good people don't do anything, and I think that's really true.
That's
They
a good
just
word
stand
too,
by and let them get on
Evilarchy.
with it.
Yeah, that's a good one. You've coined a new term.
I like that. Evilarchy.
That's right up there
Yeah,
with
it's a cross,
Oh,
it's
that
a
comes
cross
Anthony
between,
Cahill. Yeah.
it's a cross between evil, monarchy, and malarkey.
There you go.
How about that one guy, the New World Odor?
Oh, yeah. It's a good song by, what's his name? Jay Soley, called New World Odor. It's a very, very good song.
Yeah, man.
Well, and
And
there's
don't forget Lizards in the Bathtub. We have to get a nice copy of that. Do you play that once in a while, Karen?
yeah, that's
Listen,
Alan's song.
That's Alan's song. That's
Yeah,
Alin Karna's
that's-
song.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I
could-
know. We'll have to
I
learn
can
the
sing all
words.
night long. I can sing for 2 hours non-stop. That's just the new one I wanted to get out there just to see what you guys thought.
Yeah.
Oh, and you told us that once you wowed us with your song skills and whatnot, you'd plug your website.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, it's FBI.com. No, I'm kidding. No.
.bbc.
.co.uk.
.co.uber kingdom.
Uber, Evilarchy, malarkey.co.
Now, I think I heard of another word. I think it was Dollarcracy. Dollarcracy. And I thought, you mean like idiocracy. But it was, and the meaning of it, it's D-U-L. Dollarcracy.
Oh, Dollarcracy.
And it means something like that the people are just so stupid that they don't pay any attention to the corrupt bureaucrats and that they run amok.
Wow.
And
Oh,
that
see, I got a better one.
Huh?
Kleptocracy. Do you know what a kleptomaniac is? A kleptomaniac is somebody who can't help but keep stealing things, even when they don't need to steal them. So what we have is a kleptocracy.
Wow. That's
Nice.
good too.
Governance
Man,
by
I can start
compulsive
taking notes here.
And idiocracy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from. See,
Governance
I
by
can
more.
take notes.
Actually,
That's why
New
Vinny's
World
got his
Order,
own radio show.
New World Order is doublethink because really it's an old world disorder. Really, they call it New World Order because that's what their dream is. That's what they're salivating over. A new sort of like neo kind of like plantation all around the globe. But really, there's nothing new about it. It's been going on for thousands of years.
That's right. It's the
Yep,
good
you're
old
precisely correct. It's the old school. Hold on. I had a realization some years back that when an idea becomes old and forgotten about, as soon as that old idea gets reintroduced, people think it's revolutionary.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what I think the real revolution is, and I don't, have any shyness at all about quoting Thomas Paine and, Thomas Jefferson and the founders, because they are the radicals. Those guys are the ones that actually believe that human, individual people, men and women, should control our own lives. Be able to decide what we put in our bodies, decide if we want to smoke a joint, decide if we want to live with somebody, rather than have to go to the church and have them bless us, Really, those guys were radical.
Maybe they're the ones that started Al Qaeda.
Well, some people think that. Some people actually do think that, the constitutionalists, these guys, I just had a conversation the other day. I mean, it's a real sticking point over here in America, is you have a group, it seems, that are trying to be revolutionary, but they want to be critical of the Constitution or the founders or the existing system. And I feel like what they don't understand is like what Alin Karna was just talking about, is all you have to do is quit. I mean, it's really simple that if you don't like it, quit. And then you just restore the republic. That's how we become people and restore the republic. And the republic already exists. We just have to quit working for this corporation that's made everybody federal personnel. That's all a U.S. citizen really is.
Well, they don't like that. And, I saw on your website, United We Strike, Rick. You're out there, Rick, right?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
Detlev is doing it.
No,
hi,
it's
Detlev.
blew up.
Hi, Detlev. I'm Chris. Hey, anyway, on your archives at United We Strike, you got the Schaefer Cox deal. And, I'm familiar with Schaefer Cox. I've actually met him up in Alaska. And you're the only site I've found out there that's got anything talking about Schaefer Cox.
I put up a post about Schaefer Cox.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
indeed.
you're tied in with these guys, Charlene.
The Schaefer what?
So I just wanted
gang
to
of 10.
congratulate
Who
you.
shaved their what?
It sounds like
Chris, thanks a lot.
it's like a sex. It sounds like a sex toy or something. Sorry, what is
No,
it? Schaefer what?
Oh no!
Yeah, absolutely. A Schaefer Cox. There's a whole rack of them. Some of them larger than the others.
Shake, rattle, and cock.
Oh my God!
Schaefer Cox.
They're battery powered.
No,
They're a
we
realistic
have some,
sensation if you
we have-
happen to be having sex
we
with
have some
somebody that's got Parkinson's.
ignorant people from abroad here.
No, these guys are drinking English beer over there, aren't they? That's
Yeah,
what's
but-
going
Well,
on.
no,
Chris-
it's actually
Chris-
9:30 in the morning at the moment. Feel purely on coffee. I'm normally this debauched. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're down under. Okay, are
Oh,
you down
yeah.
in Sydney? You down in Sydney?
Yeah. We haven't.
No.
We're kind of like Australia here in New Zealand.
sorry.
The difference. Do you know what the difference between Australians and cheese is? If you leave if you leave cheese in the desert for 200 years, it develops culture.
Hey, all I know about you guys is you're all black.
Dear, no, it's where they filmed the Lord of the Rings. Actually, New Zealand is a very beautiful country, and they're not down and out; they're down under.
We hear wonderful things about New Zealand and Colorado.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. You know what? I was in Australia once. I went to Alice Springs. Do you know about that place?
Yeah.
Is that where the
The
UFOs
continent
are?
of Australia looks rather like a butt, and Alice Springs is right in the middle.
Hey, you guys are dragging us down into some sort of feud here. Okay, we're separatists over here in the States. We just don't want to be involved in that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Fighting words.
Plus we're clueless.
We don't have any geography in our schools. You've got to understand. We don't know where New Zealand is.
As far as our kids are concerned, New Zealand is where Hawaii is. Okay.
Yeah.
Australia's in Europe, isn't it? Australia, it's right next to Germany, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
That's where
I think you're right,
Iraq is
Michael.
from.
Well, now
I think you said it.
well, there's one thing all these countries have in common. They're all Queen's countries.
Yes, that's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah, but not anymore, right? Didn't John Anthony Hill show that the Queen was like, not exactly in charge, large and in charge?
No, it's Rothschild now. They took it over, but still, the brand is still Queen.
Absolutely. I've traveled and lived all over the world, and boy, I picked up on that British Commonwealth stuff, man. I used to live in Hong Kong and all over the place, and those Brits were everywhere. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Huh.
And Canada is kind of like their secret little hiding place, here in North America. And they experimented with GMO food for 10 years in Canada on the Canadian people. And, last year one of the guys in the government of Canada tried to do something, and the Queenie called up on the phone and said, no, you won't be doing that. And they shut him right down.
Right,
So-
they're still under that control. And more
Good
than 10
heavens.
years, they experiment on us each and every day. The United States, we are the largest group of people who are experimented on without our knowledge or consent, unless then when I'm thinking about it, possibly people, unfortunately, in Africa and countries like
Yes.
that called third world countries where they're
Haiti.
vaccinated.
Hope for
Haiti.
Haiti. There's hope for Haiti. Yeah, sure.
No, they just have their way on the third world. And see, I used to live in the third world and work in the newspapers. And so that's part of the reason I got to wake up early compared to most Americans is I lived there, saw it, So.
Well,
Yeah.
it changes your perceptions when you have experience. And what I find now is that we've kind of got this kind of cookie cutter experience, as children go through high school and all of that kind of stuff. They all seem to experience more or less the same thing, not thinking, being bored, wanting to leave and go do something else. And, that's the real tragedy, is that the public schooling system has stopped people from wanting to think, from wanting to go outside and play. You know, that kind of thing should be almost institutionalized. But incidentally, of course, the only way you can really get your children to have the exact education that you want them to have and everything that you want to teach them is to homeschool them. And guess who the first group of people to be discriminated against by law in Nazi Germany were? Homeschoolers.
Yeah,
and guess who the last people to get discriminated against in Nazi Germany by law? Gun owners.
Yeah, all we can do is laugh at this point. That is exactly right. It's
the lighter side of genocide.
Yep, indeed.
And we can also flash crash the Fed tomorrow. So that's the goal, really, is to start taking our money back through economic strikes and boycotts and tell them no. It won't stop everything, but when we get enough people to participate, it will send a bottom line message to them of unity and solidarity so that they start looking over their shoulders and realize the people are rising. And in September, we're working with another group who have globalnoncompliance.com. They're calling for a week-long strike starting September 12th. And this really will give us an opportunity, if enough of us participate, to starve the beast globally and take it apart locally, which is the only way, really, we can make a big, significant change.
And also, all of those of you who have large trench coats as well, you don't have to flash crash the Fed, but you can show up and just...
Oh, come on! Can't we have some fun?
We can moon them while we're at it, like they had Moon the Queen last year.
I want to see the look on Ben Bernanke's face. I think I like that idea. We could go into our local Federal Reserve Bank, if you have one near you, and moon them, right?
And flash them, you know. Except he might enjoy it. Ben Bernanke.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they would with their little occult religion. I'm sure they'd love it. But
no,
you guys,
they'd only love it if you were about 6 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're way too old for their taste. That's true. But did you guys even hear here in Colorado? We had a protester outside the Fed here in Denver, and 4 guards ran out from the Fed who were Fed employees and grabbed him off the street and dragged him within.
Grabbed who?
They dragged him into the bank?
They dragged him into the bank, and then they arrested him in there, which they had no right to do in the first place. And, yeah.
They dragged him in and then arrested him for like trespassing or something.
Exactly.
Wow.
They dragged him off the street into the property of the Fed and then arrested him for trespassing. And we got all that.
And then they took a picture of his backside and they put it on their next Federal Reserve note.
Who did they grab? I'm still going, who? I'm lost
right down
here.
the middle. Right.
Hey, where can we see those videos for that? Where is that? Is that done yet, that video?
I'm sure it is. And I'll have to, I can send it to you, Karen. We can put it on Charlene's website.
Yeah, you can put it on
Musicians
for Freedom. It's at We Are Change Colorado. If you probably just type that in, right? WeAreChangeColorado.org.
Yeah, it's probably sitting there right now. Yep.
Probably up at the website.
Okay, and so you're talking about one protester who showed up and got arrested inside the bank, dragged in the bank and arrested?
Yeah, what he did is he went in with another guy, and the people inside determined that they didn't want to really suck up to the Fed, these 2 visitors. And so when things got a little antsy, they just tried to leave, and they walked out on the street, and then they followed them out there and dragged them back in, and then
Dragged them back in.
Physically.
No kidding. And the one that did the Mooney, they promoted him.
I don't think there was any mooning, no. They weren't even that radical about it. Yeah. But one of the guys, his name is Ron Lewis. He's got I don't know if his website is like ronlewis.com. He wrote a book called Stick It to the Man. Stick It to the Man. So we have a lot of great local activists here, actually, in Colorado.
Yeah.
Sounds like you do.
Well, you know what? There's copious quantities of activists all over the place. The problem is that they're usually on their own, motivated individuals, who don't have time to, network with others or that kind of thing. And, as a result, they don't wind up getting on TV or on radio or any of that kind of stuff. So I think as a radio show host, I mean, it's my responsibility to go out and find these people who are generally kind of cryptic individuals that are, they don't promote themselves, at all. They're not filmmakers, they're not broadcasters, they don't have that ability to get their actions out there for more people to see, and they just kind of do it as a personal mission. Now, in my opinion, people like that are both the best and the worst types of people to deal with. They're the best kind of people to deal with because, hey, you never have to tell them to do anything. You only need to ask them questions, and the answers that they give you make great talk radio. They make great videos. Okay. The worst part about it is, that they won't, promote themselves. Okay. They kind of, try to keep to themselves rather, which is very, very interesting because, I feel that there's nothing shameful about shameless self-promotion. And, as far as I'm concerned, I don't laugh. As far as I'm,
You're shameless, Vinny, shameless.
But it's part of your charm. It's part of your charm, Vinny. We love you for it.
That's what everybody tells me. I thought, what I say is that basically, because these people won't promote themselves to any great extent, we have to find them and promote them ourselves. Okay, that's what our job is as radio show hosts, as entertainers, as filmmakers, or whatever, is to find those important people, find those important issues, and give that information out to everybody, because as far as I'm concerned, no information that is kept secret is beneficial. Okay? Basically, if you have a New World Order complex and a private banking system as we have now that are engaged in a admitted conspiracy, an admitted, documented conspiracy against the people of the United States and the people of this world in general, okay, that's a fact. All right? And it's been kept secret, and so nobody has the empowerment out of knowing it. All right, that's why secrets are only really useful if you're the one that keeps them. Okay, for yourself. Nobody else benefits from your secrets. And I say, expose them. Get the secrets out there. Okay?
You're absolutely right, Vinny, because I think exposure, and I don't mean it in a funny way, I'm not talking about guys with raincoats and stuff. I'm talking about exposing the globalists is what they fear most. That's what they really are afraid of more than anything else.
Unity,
absolutely.
Also. They're power freaks. They're control freaks. The worst possible thing that you can do to a control freak is ignore him. And so all the activists who are taking part in different ways to fight this tyranny, we encourage you, take action on the 15th. If you do that, know that all around the world, you are joined by like-minded people who are also individually empowering themselves by keeping as much of themselves and their money out of the system for at least one day, and we're planning a strike in September. But at least on that 15th, it's empowering to know I did it again today, and I told more people about it, and more people join us every month as this grows, because unity is the silver bullet. Unity is the only way we're going to fight them. We outnumber them, and it's time.
It's incidentally the theme song for my show.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey, Vinny. Hey, Vinny, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, you're talking about individual circumstances of particular people. I happen to have one for you right now. There's a lady here on the Front Range of Colorado named Stacy Lynn. And for the last, 3 years now, she's been traveling up and down the Front Range trying to educate people about Agenda 21. And one of the major reciprocatories of Agenda 21 federal money is up here in Fort Collins, Colorado on the Front Range, which is where she's from. And she just is simply a citizen who just said, what the hell is going on here? Who are these people and what are they doing? And she started researching it, and then she went out and tried to educate her fellow citizens about Agenda 21. Well, the county is now after her, using covert means to mess with her personal life. They're trying to take her little boy away, who's 8 years old, and they actually have a deal now where if she physically leaves the county, they've sworn to her that they're going to steal her little kid. And so she's basically got a ball and chain around her ankle here.
Well, you know what, though? I have to say that if she were a people and not a citizen, she'd have less problems.
Well, the reason I bring this up, though, Vinny, is what I'd like is we need to have emails and faxes from all over the world sent to Larimer County. Now, this is the egregious point that I want to communicate to you guys that we really need help on, and it's the battle of Agenda 21. You'll be contributing against Agenda 21 if we simply send faxes and emails to the Larimer County Sheriff's Department, because what they're doing to her, in addition to the attack by the Child Protective Services, is they are withholding her record at the sheriff's office.
The court.
The court.
I think.
Well, no, the sheriff's office will not release her record. Now, all she is a citizen in Larimer County, and the sheriff has said, no, I'm not going to release your record. Okay? Now, the reason they won't do that is because she has all kinds of incriminating evidence against that very county on that record. And there's so much incriminating evidence on that record that they're saying, well, we just won't release it. That's how we'll solve that problem. And so what we need is pressure from all over the world for anybody interested in fighting against Agenda 21 to send both faxes and emails to the Larimer County Sheriff saying, please release Stacy Lynn's records.
You know, it'd be nice, Vinny. Maybe you could interview her. Maybe we'll have her call you. We'll give Stacy Lynn your information and have her get a hold of you, and you can interview her.
Yeah, for real, man. Let me see. I have virtually nobody organised on my show this week apart from Monday and Friday. So yeah, there's some slots open for her if she wants to come on my show. I'll give her an hour or two.
That'd be beautiful.
That'd be great, because that way we can hear the story too, because, you know, I haven't really heard, you know, we'd like to hear it from Stacy. Yeah. You know how it is when you hear it second.
You know what? She's going to tell me the same story that I hear over and over again. Cops came in, took my kids. Well, oh yeah, why did they do that? Oh, there's no good reason. They won't explain to me. They're trying to keep my kids away from me. Okay. Have you done anything against local corruption or something like that? Yes. Okay. That's why. Okay. How come the courts won't help me? It's because the sheriff, the court judge, and the local prosecutor are in on it. Okay?
Yeah, that's right. And follow the money. The money's coming from the feds, and they're all on that little covert payroll.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right, Sharlene, can we get her locally? Can we get her on, Chris? Is she close enough to where we can get her on maybe next Sunday on Musicians for Freedom as well on this segment?
Well, the problem is she can't leave Larimer County.
Well, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. You know, if she were not a citizen, see, really, what I've learned from Bert, you know, I've gone on my website. It's called A Journey to Freedom, and Karen, you've heard of Bert, you know, and so what he did, so Bert has separated himself from his citizenship, and so in my opinion, you know, we really shouldn't just, you know, cast about this word citizen. You know, no offense, Chris, but people do this all the time. I mean, they act like somehow citizen is supposed to be something good. If you're a citizen, you are a slave. That means you are subject to the jurisdiction. And so what I'm trying to say is that Stacy Lynn now is a subject to the jurisdiction. So if she is subject to their jurisdiction, then why would she be surprised if they are calling all the shots? Okay? So what I'm saying is you have to not be subject to the jurisdiction of these federal franchises, which are what the states and counties are. It's just one big corporation. Okay? And so what she has to do is understand that she is a people and that people have rights and act like a people and not be asking them for permission and asking them to give her things. She has to be going on the aggressive and suing them.
But Sharlene, that's what she's tried to do. She's tried to file a form.
Yeah, but no filing forms. No forms. You don't use their
forms. There's a form that says
no forms.
That you can be in front of a real judge.
Yeah, but no forms. No forms. Because what I'm trying to tell you.
How do you file a lawsuit without forms?
No forms. You write letters. No, you write letters. What Bert does is you never ever fill out a form, because as soon as you fill out a form, it's like, imagine you're playing a Monopoly game, okay? And the two people are playing on the Monopoly board, and you've got tokens. Well, the government gives you the token. The token is called the U.S. citizen. And if you fill out forms, then you're still on the Monopoly board. You are still using their rules, their legal crap. So you have to rise above and be people and go people to people and don't do anything with forms. Get out of the U.S. Code. Get out of the Code of Federal Relations. regulations. You have to get out of the system. And so that's what I'm trying to say is you don't ask them for permission by filling out their forms.
If you wrote a letter,
it's important.
who would
It's very
you write
important.
a letter to? Who should she write a letter to?
Tell her how to get her record from the sheriff.
Yes,
how does she do that?
I suggest y'all talk to Bert and he's not here today, because we have so many people on the show. But Bert at donotconsent83@yahoo.com can explain a lot more about what I'm talking about.
Well, also, she needs to get it out. So she can, if you can get her to join us just by phone or by Skype next Sunday, we'll be happy to have her on. And it sounds like Vinny will have her on. Because she needs as many people as possible to know about this. Because right now, too, Sharlene, she is caught in the system. And when your family's there, you need all the exposure and all the publicity that you can get. So let's see if we can get her booked next week and do what we can to help her. Chris, Sharlene has my information, too. All she
Karen,
needs to do is
I've got your email. Karen, I sent you those emails, remember?
Yeah. Okay, so Farnsworth, is that your last name?
That's me.
Okay, now I know who you are.
Without the S.
Farnsworth.
Okay.
Professor Farnsworth.
No, it's Farnworth.
Mr. Farnworth.
There's a little town over by Bolton called Farnworth. Just think of it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let's see if we can get her on next week.
One last point, too, is, what we've learned about the birth certificate registration is what happens generally is what we do is we register the birth certificate, so her child is probably registered. Now, I don't know the exact details, but when he was born, she probably registered him with the state, which essentially gives the title to him and his body to the state, and the state claims to own him now.
That's right.
So now the mother does not have any claim over her own son. And so Bert would recommend that the first thing that needs to be done is she needs to write a letter to the Secretary of State of Colorado and Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State of the United States Corporation, and explain that she is laying claim to this boy and that if anybody does anything to lay a hand on him, that she will then be suing for millions of dollars in court. She has rights. People have rights. You've got to start using these rights that we have.
But what about the established precedent that her son already is a corporation? Do we just say that doesn't exist anymore?
You say, I don't agree anymore. Yeah, you just say, basically, I agreed yesterday, and today, now that I know better, I don't agree anymore.
Because she's quite educated about these sovereignty issues, I know. And
there you go.
She's at the point where she's...
I mean, it's just another scam. I mean, what they're hoping for, it's like these debt collectors and the banking, the banking system and credit cards and that kind of thing. Yeah. They're absolutely hoping that you're a fool enough to write out a check to them. But if you say no, say no,
Nothing makes a psychopath, nothing makes a psychopath, more afraid than being exposed doing what they normally do.
Vinny, that's it. And you turn around and say, you are the
on radio. Get her on YouTube and record everything. Every single chat she has with a lawyer, a judge, a police officer, everything needs to be recorded. Because every time that you have these corrupt scum talking to you or whatever, if they don't know they're being recorded, they'll often say things that incriminate themselves. And then if you go and try and say and do that afterwards, they'll say, oh, it's just hearsay. But you can't fake a recording like that. Okay? And these scum know it. That's why in the family courts, or eugenics courts as I like to call them, because that's what they originally were called, aren't allowed any media of any kind.
It's the same the world over.
How criminal is that?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, over here in the UK, I am shocked with the level of total criminality, total corruption within our judicial system. A lot of these judges and these people in high places, they're massively great big paedophiles all over the shop. I mean, it's just
exact same here in New Zealand.
It's
have you noticed? It's the same system everywhere you go. That's why it's so easy for people to integrate. It's like, hey, I'm coming from a country that's full of corruption and dumbass people who are completely dumbed down by fluoride and aspartame and psychopathy in the media. And I moved to England. Hey, I can integrate pretty easily.
You'll be fine, especially if you're illegal.
Yeah, it's the same here in the States. Right.
What you don't want to do is become a citizen.
And the government's doing that to promote racial violence and hatred so that they can clamp down on frickin' everybody. I just love it how they just set you up to fail, you know. It's impossible to get ahead in this world, namely because they make sure that it's not possible to have a totally honest living without getting hassled by a group of frickin' psychopaths.
Yep. Well, and also they're experts at taking down cultures. Look what they've done in the UK. I mean, Tony Blair, you can find written statements by him of, I'm going to take down the culture of the UK 10 years ago. And boy, did he do a good job on that, you know?
Well, they're doing it here as well. That's what the immigration is really all about.
That's what it's all about. That's exactly right.
Yeah, In New Zealand, we've got a saying, instead of saying thank you, we say chop. It's kind of like cheers, you know. So basically what we've got now is we've got a cult, chop, and that's pretty much what's going on here. The whole world is run by some description of pedophile, satanic cult or whatever. They control everything, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just making random assumptions here. And you know what the worst part is? I'll go off speculating, going and conspiracy theorizing. And the worst part is, when I have guests on my show that are experts of these subjects of which I'm conspiracy theorizing, they back up what I'm saying with evidence that I didn't know existed.
You have to have a theory before you can find the evidence. Absolutely. That's why George Bush said we shouldn't tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories, because if you had a theory, you might actually back it up with evidence, right?
Oh, yeah. Man, you can't have people walking around thinking, theorizing, and questioning stuff. I mean, jeepers creepers, the world as we know it would end.
I think Joseph Stalin, I saw a quote, and he said something about, we don't allow our enemies to have guns. Why should we allow them to have ideas? Ideas are more powerful than guns.
Yeah. Well, you know, when they confiscated all the guns off all the farmers and everything like that, I'm sure that they were thinking it was a great idea. Other than that, they had picks and shovels and whatnot. Can't run a revolution on those. It'd be better to have Rothschild funding and arms shipped in from the US or something.
Well, you know what?
I was watching a movie last night, Charlie Wilson's War. Have you heard of this movie? It's about the Congressman Charlie Wilson in 1980. How he went to Afghanistan to see how all the Afghanistanis were being treated by the Russians and all of that kind of stuff. And then he just decided that it was a great idea, because of all these Afghanis were suffering and they couldn't shoot down the helicopters of the Russians and all of that, to get them copious quantities of arms, munitions, and get the CIA to train them up and what have you. And it worked out quite fabulously. The Russian Empire collapsed, Afghanistan was set free, to later be taken over again and plant heroin.
Yep.
Hey, Tom, why don't you play us that song? Which one do you have? We Are Change?
Sure, whatever. Are we ready for music?
I am.
Yes, we are, and this is going to then bring us into the break. So after the music, we'll have a quick break.
We are change all over the world. Here we go.
Sing along.
You want some changes? Well, we have plans. So gather your neighbors and tell your friends. Together we can do it all. Stay divided and we fall. We have no partisan point of view. We don't tell lies and we call it truth. The people have a lot to say. Let real folks lead the way. We are change and we are love. Together we're stronger than ever before. We are the change we're seeking. And you can join us because we are change. The military machine must end. Let's show the world we can be their friend. No silent drones and scuds. No more oil spilling blood. The time has come, we must end the Fed. We're in the red and we're almost dead. The system has to change, and it's time to rearrange. We are change and we are love. Together we're stronger than ever and justice. So now we rise, many millions strong. We're together and we've made a promise. We will bring light to the darkness. InfoWars is the battle now. We almost promised to make a vow. 9/11 truth today. That's what we the people say. We're patriots of a different type. We have the oath keepers at our side. Real change is catching on, so it's time to come along. Singing, we are change and we are love. Together we're stronger than ever before. We are the change we're seeking, and you can join us because we are change. We are change and we are love. Together we're stronger than ever before. We are the change we're seeking, and you can join us because we are change. 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 We are change.
Join Musicians for Freedom on ICRN-Radio.com every Sunday at 3 p.m. MDT and 10 p.m. UK time for guests and political music live from the Colorado studio.
There are places that I would like to go. I see faces of people I would like to know. Judy, you keep me here and watchful eye. And in the background, where I put it all to rest, seeking out my imitations of the best. You're there, and you make me sweat under your watchful eye. Sometimes feel like I'm knowing what it is that keeps me from going. All the times when I stay to myself and never let you in, make you part of me, yeah. Baby, I don't know what it is, I don't know, that keeps me by your side. I'm afraid of letting go, but I'm not complaining, 'cause you're really what I need. My heart beating. Tell me when to, tell me when to breathe. pull me back under with your watchful eye.
This is Musicians for Freedom on UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network.
Here we go. Second hour of Musicians for Freedom. Who's taking over? Karen?
All right, this is Detlev, or you are Detlev. I'm not Detlev.
Well, I hope not.
No, well, why don't you give yourself a plug, Detlev, and tell folks before you hand yourself off there and go back into the producing, you're taking Rick's place, and tell us a little about yourself.
Oh, well, that's a tough one here, because it's midnight, right? So it's five past midnight. I'm Detlev of Switzerland, of Wake News Radio, and I usually make my shows in German, not so much in English. Only with you bunch of people, you great guys, I take the advantage. So nevertheless, I used to make some music when I was young, as everybody did. Now I just talk, or am silent, depends on what's happening. But I'm an activist as well. So let's go ahead.
Now I just talk about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Detlev, I went to your website, and it's all in German, and so I have to say I studied German in college, but I'm just grateful that you speak English. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Detlev, I'd just like to say that you came on at the last minute when Rick's computer blew up at the last moment, just before going on, about 1 hour before we went on air on last Thursday night. But you came in and produced the show, and you did a great job. So I just wanted to thank you again for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thanks, man. You're like the Gastarbeiter of UWS.
Well, sort of. If you want.
Yeah,
for those of you who don't speak German, Gastarbeiter means guest worker.
Right.
By the way, Detlev, Tony Farrell, who was on the show, and he's kind of a newbie in the, in the truth, alternative media sort of thing. He's a recent addition to, he's a fascinating guy in intelligence, all the stuff, if you remember.
Yeah.
And, I've just been exchanging texts with him on Skype because he just came online and said hi and all that,
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Send him regards.
Oh, he's absolutely delighted, and he really was absolutely delighted to be on the show. So, that's what I like to hear, when everyone's happy.
Yeah, sure. And then we will have archives available possibly tomorrow. And I try to make YouTube as well, because
somebody already did the YouTube. It's gone viral. It's in 3 parts
of the Thursday interview. Yeah. But this
That's
one is
great.
even more important because it's Vinny from New Zealand. That's incredible. And it's also Musicians for Freedom. That's amazing, isn't it?
It's fun. This is our favorite program, adding the music, actually, to our conversations.
And Karen.
Yeah, there's only two ways that basically bring everybody together. Music and weed.
Weed?
Wait a minute, I'm here.
Wine, women, and song.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Chris.
I don't smoke that stuff. I'm just running on natural energy here. But, hey, Detlev, I wanted to give some positive feedback to you. I was out on the Colorado Trail at midnight quite a couple weeks ago, and I listened to a couple hours of you straight. Just you and me, buddy, out in the mountains of Colorado at midnight. And I just want to give you a compliment that the cadence of your English, it's very understandable, and you really come through clearly. So nice job. I just want to give you a compliment there.
Thank you very much. Oh dear, that's a lot of compliments tonight.
A new fan.
And we'll not be able to sleep.
Well, I downloaded your MP3s off the United We Strike website, and they were really good, man. And very, very good cadence, and the way you present the ideas are very understandable. A lot of people like me, I might start talking too fast and lose people. But you have a very balanced way of presenting it, and that is an asset for the communication to the people out there. So
cool.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm learning.
We are so fortunate to have Detlev. He is one of the early people who spoke up and resonated with the whole idea behind United We Strike and Tax-Free 15. And it has been such a pleasure to watch him evolve to now where he is doing his program. And he starts off our marathons, too, every time in German. And to watch him really growing, and his audience grows, and he keeps track of all kinds of different things. Detlev knows about Elenin and Nibiru, and not just on the political scene, but also all the earth changes that are going on, all the volcanoes, all of that activity. Detlev keeps up on it, and it's fascinating to learn from him and to have him part of this.
Yeah, and Detlev, just so you know, here in Golden, Colorado, is the world center for keeping track of earthquakes.
Yeah.
So if you'd ever like to have me go down there for you or anything like that, it turns out that every country in the world has sensors installed that report to the School of Mines here in Golden, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but if you ever want me to run down there for you for any reason in your research, just let me know.
That or Coors beer, we could send you Coors beer too. It's in Golden too.
Well, I'm also very interested in the Denver airport issue,
Oh, yeah.
If you can track out something new developing there, I would be very glad to hear about it.
On that one. Yeah.
Well, you know what I just found out recently? I did a video recently. Did you hear about the cremation of care at 1913 at Red Rocks?
Sure.
Oh, you got to hear about this.
Yeah, so there's my friend Linda Gonzalez from Fort Collins, Colorado, mentioned it to me a while back. Early in the summer, that the elites had performed a cremation of care at Red Rocks in 1913, and that there was a plaque at the Red Rocks amphitheater. So I went to see Peter Gabriel this summer, a few weeks back, and made a video. So I have a video at my my YouTube channel, and it's just like a brief little video about it, but it definitely shows the plaques. The first one they did in like 1909 or something. It was before Red Rocks actually opened even to the public.
Yeah.
And the first one was something sort of like a goddess worship kind of thing too,
Yeah. And so they've been doing occult ceremonies there.
In Colorado.
Like 30 years before it opened is a rock and roll venue.
Right.
Wow.
So Colorado is definitely the playground of the elite. I hear Purgatory is their favorite ski resort out here. And, so DIA, that whole thing is planned. There's a plaque there that's laid by Masons that calls it the New World Airport.
Yeah. And this is going to be the new headquarters, maybe. At least there's a headquarter down there, someplace a few thousand feet below, maybe.
Well, they built 4 buildings there that were 6 stories tall, and the top story was level with the ground. And the official story was, after they built the buildings, steel frame buildings. They said, oh, dang, we read the blueprints wrong. We weren't supposed to build these. Oh, well, just bury them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's
Oops.
good. Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah. And they didn't catch it in the middle of building the buildings, why they brought the steel in and constructed the buildings. They caught it right at the end. What a kooky coincidence, you know? So it's good stuff.
Yeah, there's been, like the West Road here, which is the local alternative weekly. They actually had an article about 2 years ago about DIA and about all the weird stuff that goes on there. So, and I might be going on a camping trip coming up here, the Paranormal Research Forum here. I want to put a plug out for my friend Rick Nelson. They have a camping trip, and we go to the Great Sand Dunes, which are really, really awesome. So that's happening on the 19th of August. So if you're out there in Colorado, you want to go look at aliens and look for UFOs out in the night sky at the sand dunes, get a hold of the Paranormal Research Forum.
Wow.
Or get a hold on an infrared camera.
Yeah, that'd be
You
cool.
ever seen that video on YouTube, man? There's like two cameras right beside each other, both looking at the same spot of sky. One's a normal camera in the visible light spectrum, one's infrared. One in the normal spectrum can't see nothing. The one in the infrared, giant frickin' UFO.
Wow.
Wow, really? Which one?
Yeah.
Send us that link on Skype, would you?
Oh, mate, I have no idea what the link is or what the name of the video is. I saw it ages ago, but,
Is
yeah,
the
man.
Story Never Told or something, is that it?
Oh,
With,
no, I can't for the life of me remember. But, yeah, it just
Infrared.
goes to show you that if they're capable of concealing themselves from the visible light spectrum, they could be freaking everywhere. And there's, of course, that other big video about the astronauts in space, and they'd put out this 3-mile line, it was kind of like a,
I heard about that. Yeah.
And, in the background, and they were shooting with, infrared cameras as well. And there were hundreds and thousands of these spinning discs flying all over the place. Some of them were up to like 5 miles wide. It was just absolutely unreal.
Wow.
I just found it.
But when you talk about
Watching the
UFOs,
X-Files a lot lately.
well, as soon as you talk to people about UFOs, and I've had this comment a couple of times in the last few weeks, is they say, well, as soon as the subject turns to UFOs, I switch off. And I'm just kind of wondering, I mean, like, I'm a curious person and I like to absorb all sorts of information. Like, if I don't know it already, then I'm interested, basically. And I don't understand the mentality about why people switch off kind of thing. I mean, unless, of course, you've heard the exact thing before and you're not learning anything, then I'll switch off. Like if a Prime Minister is telling me that he's trying to save the country from a massive debt crisis by borrowing hundreds of millions of dollars a week, I kind of switch off. It's like, we're trying to make sure the country maintains its sovereignty by borrowing $350 million a week. Other than that, it's pretty funny, after he finishes the season.
Now, wait a minute. Now,
This
that's
is why I
a
find it hard to get depressed, because it's very difficult to get depressed if every sentence is followed by,
Prime
Yeah, the name of that UFO film is The Greatest Story Ever Denied. I think that's the one that Vinny is talking about. It's incredible. It's an incredible documentary.
Yeah, I've seen that one too. Yeah. And another one, a great one of the moon conspiracy theories was a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. The start of that film is absolutely awesome, man. Like, every single space vehicle that NASA made crashed and blew up frickin' spectacularly. Like dozens and dozens and dozens of these massive freaking explosions at the start of the film, and how like the model for the moon lander, as soon as they gave it like one tiny little bit of thrust on the side or something, it couldn't even fly in the air properly without pitching over the side, forcing the guy to jump out, deploying his parachute before it crashed down to Earth upside down and exploding into flames. Okay? Now, what person in their right mind would go in the middle of space, the most dangerous place for a human being to be, in something that can pitch over the side with one tiny little accidental movement of your hand? That's freaking scary, man. No way. I'd never do that. But then again, astronauts train very, very hard. to make sure that they don't make those mistakes, like telling the public the truth, for example.
Oh dear.
Well, what do you think about disclosure? I suppose at some point we're supposed to learn all about what's really going on. Is that what's supposed to happen here someday?
No. They don't do disclosure. In fact, NASA's now working on something even better. They're working on closure.
Yeah, it's called Agenda 21.
Yeah. NASA's gone all black operations now. They've shut down so that they can, they can now do it off the thing,
Yep. Hi, George. I think he's got it.
Alan, sing us a song, Alan.
Yeah, we need music.
Alan, sing a song, Alan.
All right. Okay, I've just realised something. I've been sending you links to stuff that we've been talking about, like that movie just now. And I thought it wasn't going through, but they've all been going through, and I keep sending them 2 or 3 times, trying to, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Sending them in the different rooms.
You need to grab that bar on the right of the screen and scroll.
Don't worry, Alan.
I didn't scroll down. That's what it was. I just didn't scroll down, that's all.
Yeah, make like the Dead Sea and scroll.
Oh my God.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Right, you ready for a tune then?
Yes. Well, what are you going to play for us?
I think this is a song I actually... Hang on, let's get this chain in there. It keeps rattling.
Try and play one that you really know.
Yeah.
That's very good.
No, wait a minute, Karen. No, Vinny, the message is, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just play it from your heart.
Oh, I didn't worry about the first one. No, I think I sent you an MP3 file of this one. It's called Please Help Me Get Her Off of My Mind. And this is a song where you split up with your lady and then you go out and have a few beers with your mate and you say, let's have a few game of darts and a game of pool or something and forget about it.
That's right where I'm at.
Forget about it.
I always made a fool of myself. I can't put the blame on anyone else. Everybody told me she was using me, but I said to myself it was jealousy. Well, ain't it just like me to be taken for a ride? I'm counting on you, my dear friend, who I can find. Please help me get off of my mind. Won't you please help me get off of my mind? I know I can try to move out and inside. Please help me get her off of my mind. Well, I've never really known what I've been looking for, making the mistakes I've always made before. But this time I was so sure I could handle everything. But now I'm left thinking of the way it could have been. Well, ain't it just like me to be taken for a ride? I'm counting on you, my dear friend, whom I can find. Please help me get off of my mind. Won't you please help me get off of my mind? And I know I will try to get along and in time. Please help me get her off of my mind. Please help me get her. Hey, please help me get her
look like a high court judge and give him the clap.
www.englishrivieraproductions.co.uk
EnglishRivieraProductions.co.uk.
Yeah.
Okay?
Very good.
All right. There we go. Got the plug in there, and it's good. Now the water's going to fill up. Yeah, well, you know, repetition of plugging is probably a good idea, you know. It's a propaganda methodology to repeat it so it sticks in people's minds.
Yeah, it works for
Vinny, you sent me that link to the show that we did with Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you sent it to me just as we were on the OYM show earlier on, I think everybody knows. And I just passed it on to the chat room in the OYM. And Alan said, there's no need for any self-promotion. What? I thought it was a bit cheeky since I was the one who introduced you guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I always say, there's nothing shameful about shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, right, yeah.
No, as a matter of fact, if we don't have healthy enough egos to promote what we're doing and to try and spread the word, we won't get very far. So we've got to be out there talking about what we're doing and encouraging other people to step up.
You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't, you know, if you're just in a bedsit or in a, you know, a little wee flat somewhere and it doesn't get out any, you know, what's the point? You know?
Yeah, and there's no reason to sit by yourself and not do anything. I mean, what was his name? David Gray, for example, did an incredible album called White Ladder, and he recorded it all in his own flat. Okay? It was raining all the time, he's in England, he's been depressed, and he's sitting there recording music, and he makes an album that is one of the most influential albums of an unknown artist, like, ever.
Well, the first part sounded very familiar, but the second part of it didn't. Most people have got studios in their own place anyway, because what you need is you just need the right software and a good computer, you know, and the right microphone and the right near-field monitors and stuff, and you've got a recording studio. Yeah,
you're precisely correct. And somebody could pay like, I don't know, $500 an hour or $10,000 per day to go into a professional recording studio and then pay $10 million to get an album out through a professional record company, when the reality is you only need maybe a grand or so, maybe even two worth of equipment in order to record it all yourself, design it all yourself, and publish it all yourself online.
Absolutely. And you don't have to share, well, a record company, in my own experience, because, you know, if you look at my CV, I've done it all really with the music business, but they're just a bank, and they lend you money at extortionate interest rates to help you with your career. But what we're really doing is helping themselves. And the deal is, when you look at, I read a couple of books about it, actually, by entertainment lawyers, both. There was one entertainment lawyer who wrote really brilliant, I can't remember the name of the book and the author, but he wrote a fantastic book, and it covered both the UK and the United States entertainment laws. And it turns out, you know, it's just a whole big scam, just like everything else, all the other stuff we've been talking about, the New World Order stuff.
Yeah, which is incidentally why so many of the high-level Hollywood people like Lady Gaga and Jay-Z and all of that have huge amounts of occult symbolism in their albums, and they talk about occult things, and they do occult ceremonies on the frickin' stage. It's choreographed. Okay? Right. These people are basically out there subliminally promoting Satanism to everybody. And then what happens? We have a whole bunch of teeny boppers, who are like, I don't know, 6 years old or something like that, thinking Justin Bieber is sexy. I mean, what are we creating here? Are we creating like, I don't know, Fiasco's pedophile house of love? I mean, for the love of for F's sake.
Well, creating culture.
You've got to look at the people who own all these big companies.
Yeah, it's called culture.
Culture.
Yeah, culture.
It's very cheesy. It's cheesy culture.
That's exactly right.
But you've got to look at and it's not the good kind, and it's not the good kind of cheesy that goes on a bread crust, you know, with a little bit of sauce or whatever. It's the bad kind of cheesy that comes out of a district court judge onto the face of a small child. It's very, very disgusting when you really know what actually goes on behind the scenes. It's the most horrific stuff you'll ever hear about, like child protective services. You're 5 times more likely to be sexually abused by those scumbags than you would any amount of abusive parents. Okay? These people are freaking scum, alright? And they're dangerous, evil, and they have no morality of any kind. Let me tell you a story about it. There was
when I was in South Africa, I was down there a few years ago doing some film music and sound design for documentaries and stuff like that, right? I was over there for 3 months. I did 3 or 4 things there. But I met with one of the top producers, David Marks, in South Africa, who lives in Durban. And there is a black artist who's like 79, 80 years old, and he's got him and his few guys playing on the beach down in Cape Town. Right? And every single day they're down there on the beach, they play live, right? And then the next thing is, guess who goes down there? But all these guys from EMI Records go down there and they offer him a record deal. Because he's popular, you know? And they want to sign him up. And they offered him a big advance and all the rest of it, we'll tour all over the world, we'll make you a big star. And he turned it down. He said, look, if anyone wants to see me live, they can come down to Cape Town and see me on the beach. And by the way, I'm selling loads of records on the beach, and I made my own records because it was this producer that helped him make his own records. But honestly, you could sell 1 million records with EMI and make X amount, but sell 10,000 records off your own back and make actually more money.
Right. Yeah, that's precisely correct. I mean, the real money in the entertainment industry is live gigs, you know? People don't.
That's right. He didn't want
the
to
artists.
A slave.
The artists don't get a share. Basically, I mean, it's like, here's a $30 CD. Okay, brand new. It only cost about maybe 12 cents to produce. Okay, that's the cost of the actual CD, the printing material, the whole thing. You're doing it in bulk, and the artist gets 1 cent out of the $30 of sale price.
Exactly. It's a big scam. It's another scam.
I have to say that I produced mine myself, back in 2000. I only made like 5 copies on my printer, my inkjet printer, and, the inserts. And I sent 5 copies to CD Baby. And in 10 years, every now and then I'll go and I'll check and see how things are going. And I still have 1 copy, I think. They only got rid of 4 actual real copies, you know what I mean? And the rest of them were digitally distributed. So they digitally distributed my CD. It's called What You're Headed For. And so it's on iTunes.
Yeah.
Huh?
The downloads, yeah.
Yeah, it's all downloads, you know what I mean? And so every now and then, I'll go over and I'll look at CD Baby to see how much money I might have made. And I don't know, it was like $4 last time I checked. It was terrible. I mean, so, I think that in my haste, I didn't really think about it. 10 years ago, it was just like, just self-produce your own CD and put it out there on CD Baby. And, but you're really not getting much money. That's for sure. But it was a way to get your music out there,
It's about promotion, though. It really is. It's, you've got a record, at least it's out there, or a book, in fact. It's about the distribution, promotion, and marketing and all that.
Yeah, and I've never, ever, toured or anything. I went off and did other things with my life, so, but... And people tell me, I've been told that, if you make your second CD and you go out and you tour and you promote yourself and it's a hit, then the first CD actually can become more popular.
Then it becomes, it picks up. But the trouble with digitalization of music, and this is very appropriate because this is Musicians for Freedom, this program. But the trouble when we, back in the mid-80s or early 80s, when it went into digitization, it's become so easy to copy music perfectly. And it's so easy to do that. And it ruined the whole thing, really. It really did. And they made a pile of money out of putting everything out as digital. Classical music also did very well. But it really, really, really screwed up the whole industry in many ways. The record companies made a lot of money out of it, but for musicians, it really made it very, very difficult. Now, music is like a utility. People expect it for free, just like, like a tap with water coming out. I know that's not free at all. Certainly not under Agenda 21. They want to charge for rainwater. But anyway, I mean, people kind of, when it's so easily available like that, people are file sharing, this kind of stuff. I've just sent a couple of tunes down the thing right now. I mean, how long did it take me to do those tracks? weeks and weeks, you know, is the truth of it, you know?
Well, and I think that, you know, the money is being made, as you said, in the touring now, in the live performances. And I guess that's why everybody's, you know, getting out of the closet, you know, all those people that, you know, Buffy St. Marie or, you know, Donovan or, you know, people that were, you know, made records in the past. Well, now they're all touring. Everybody's got a tour because that's where the money is. And, you know, and
Prince,
then the ticket sales are really high too, you know.
Prince, you know, one of the greatest artists, you know, been around for the last 20 years. Prince, I mean, fantastic. What he did was he put out, his CD was for free. He put out 3 CDs, but he did 3 big shows at the London, a big venue in the Metro. I think I've forgotten the name of the new name of it. It used to be, a big venue in the, you know, right in London. So everyone who shows up for the gig, who pays $20 to get in or $50 to get in, they get a free CD. But he made a pile of money, millions out of it. But the CD was free.
I like that idea. I think that's the way to go, really. These days, with the sharing and the digital, you know, I think that's the way to go.
You ever seen those restaurants that they don't have a set price on the menu and people pay what they think the meal was worth? Imagine that. Imagine you walk into a record store and somebody picks up Lady Gaga for like 12 cents or something like that, walks out.
That's too much money.
Yeah, I was going to say put point before it, 0.12 cents.
No, you'd have to pay me.
Yeah. You can pay for the CD using fractional reserve banking.
Yeah, exactly. You have to pay me. And then I'd just throw it away. I'd do it for the money, you know.
There's a restaurant here in town. It's called Comfort Cafe. I want to give a little plug for those guys because they do exactly that, you know. You go in and they have awesome food. You just pick and choose whatever you want on your plate, cool. You know, without any price attached. It's not like, well, how much is that little pile of fruit salad? You know, yeah. You don't have to worry about it. You just get whatever you want, you know, and then you pay whatever you feel like paying. It's awesome.
I want there to be a conspiracy cafe, like, you know, go in and order yourselves a Twin Tower burger and get yourself a Bernanke with cheese, you know. It'll be great.
Yeah, baby.
I like that. Conspiracy coffee. I always felt like, you know, like a little donut shop, maybe topless, you know, you have like a drive-through.
Can I have a little bit more nanothermite on that burger?
Oh, well, no. Actually, no. The Conspiracy Cafe would actually have to be mobile. It'd have to be, you know, they got those caravans on the back of cars that they're basically like little shops kind of thing, and they drive around.
An ice cream truck?
And, yeah, one of those with a GPS blocker so it can't be tracked.
I like it. We might be onto something there.
I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by.
Yeah, we could go on and on that one.
Like by a bunch of really heavy biker guys, you know, with big chains around them.
With loudspeakers playing Rage Against the Machine. If you won't do what you tell me, you know, you're like walking around kind of like the ice cream vans. They play the little tune to get the children to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll play Rage Against the Machine, and all of a sudden, all these conspiracy theorists will come out of their freaking homes.
Yeah, and we could
those are wonderful ideas, all of them. I mean, what we could do?
We could put a big sign on it that says "Building what?" You know,
building what?
Building what? You know.
Well, I like that scene from the Blues Brothers. That was pretty fascinating, right? When didn't they drive around with the thing on the top of the car?
Yeah, that's a classic.
That was classic.
We could. Here's a. You were talking about gigs earlier. How about the Beach Boys? Okay, we've all heard of them. They're coming to Denver soon and doing a gig in Civic Center Park, downtown Denver.
Cool.
It's for 9/11. It's on
9/11?
It's on 9/11.
Ooh, wow.
But it's not exposing 9/11.
No, but we will.
Exactly. It's all those nasty Arabs knocked down those buildings, and boy, we need to remember this and hate those Arabs. And the Beach Boys are gonna clang in the background while we program the sheeple.
You mean it's those Muslims? You mean those ones that don't believe in usury, that don't think it's okay for banksters to charge massive interest on fiat currency?
They are pretty smart. They ran the whole app with a laptop from a cave. So they're, you know, you got to give them credit for that.
A laptop in a cave.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a free app that they downloaded to their iPhone. You know.
Yeah. But the thing is,
the DoD to.
Yeah. But follow the money. The Beach Boys. It's a gig. A Beach Boys gig. Gee. is the check coming right from the Pentagon on that one?
Yeah, like Jerry Garcia, CIA, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's good vibrations, man. It's the galactic alignment, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, let's look at the check that...
my producer was actually mentored by the guy who mentored Bobby Darin from the Beach Boys, as it turns out.
Bobby Darin
Mitch was?
Beach Boys. He wasn't in the Beach Boys, was he?
You better watch your back, Vinny.
No, Bobby Darin was not in the Beach Boys.
No?
Oh, but someone told me that Bobby Darin...
Who was Bobby Darin?
He came out as an activist. There's a Bobby Darin story. Someone told me, Doug from Voodoo Stingray told me that I should watch the Bobby Darin story because he was like just, singing love songs and stuff, and all of a sudden he woke up. Mm-hmm. And so there's apparently a movie out there called The Bobby Darin Story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Cool. Yeah, he died in early death.
Oh, he died in early death? Did the 27 Club thing?
Well, it wasn't that early, I don't think. But yeah, he did wake up. He was one of those like George Carlin, had a straight man's haircut. Then the next thing he's like a full-blown hippie. Yeah, that was Bobby Darin. He was Mac the Nut with the shot bats. That was Bobby Darin.
And he was married to Sandra Dee, who was a top pop teen idol, kind of, back then. And he's played in the movie by Kevin Spacey, who does his own singing and everything, and is terrific.
Yes.
Huh. Oh, there's a movie. I can't wait to see the movie. Hey, can I play a song? I'm going to play a song before our show's over.
Yeah.
Can I throw one more in, though? In the Daily Mail over here, I read that they had an article from a very famous, who was a child star in Hollywood here in the States. And he just came out 20 years after he was a child in Hollywood and said, the biggest problem in Hollywood is it's just full of pedophiles.
Wow.
So you had to check that out. It's like a little expose by this very famous child star from Hollywood. Named, I forgot, but check out the Daily Mail. Just punch in, go to the Daily Mail, punch in pedophile. I'm sure it'll be the first one that comes up. So.
Huh.
Well, I think that's really CPS, is Child Pedophilia and Pornography Service, which is horrible, and we should take that whole organization down, as well as all the politicians who deal in hurting children.
Why is it that so many organizations with three-letter names are such a-holes?
Good
What is
question.
it about being named with three letters that makes you scum? I don't get it.
Alphabet gangs.
Yeah, the acronym is NGO, non-governmental organization, so they just morph that into different three-letter names.
Oh, I've got three letters for you. FUB. It stands for F you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I just get so sick of these frickin' scum, eh? Honestly. But anyway, on with the music.
Yeah. Music.
How much time do we have? How are we doing?
Doing well. Go ahead, Charlene. We haven't
I've got
heard
some
you
bad
play in
news
a
for
while.
you. We're definitely running out of time.
Are we?
Karen,
Let's go out singing.
Karen.
Alan.
Yeah. While the seas.
Wait. Okay,
What is
hang on.
that
First, let's let Charlene play first. If you want, we can try
Oh,
a
I'm
little
sorry.
bit of that and see what happens.
I just nipped. I missed that part. I just nipped out to get my tea out of the microwave.
Okay, we'll let Charlene do it, and then if you want, we can see what we can do.
I
That'd
thought
be
we
kind
could
of
do the
interesting.
acoustic version. Why not?
We might be able to. All right, Charlene, though, you've got a song for us, and we haven't heard you for a while, and I love to listen to you play. So
I'm trying to think what I can sing. I just feel like I should play a song, but I don't know what to play. What haven't you heard?
Just make it good.
But there's no pressure.
If you just want to play the guitar, and I'll sing if you like.
I know. I wish we could play together. I think we've got a delay.
We do.
Go for it.
All right,
Give us a strum.
This one's called A Heart Away from Homeless. Maybe I'll try this one. When I came into town, I didn't know it was sold. My money was low. I had no place to go. I was walking around because I didn't have a car. And I wandered into the Victoria Bar. There was pizza and pool to fill up my time, whiskey and beer, tequila with wine, and lots of people there who came to my aid. And I'm glad and I'm humbled by the friends that I've made. And I'm only a heart away from homeless. I'm only a hand away from the street. Just a meal from starvation. If not for the company that I keep. Well, some people say the Victoria Bar, it's a place to avoid. It's loud and it's dark, but there's lots of people there with stories like mine. We traded our sorrows for glasses of wine. And our heartache and hope, desperation and despair, we offered our voices to music up there. And I realized what I should have known before, I'm not the only stranger to pass through that door. I'm only a heart away from homeless. I'm only a hand away from the street. Just a meal from starvation. If not for the company that I keep. So if you're feeling down, you need a hand to hold, talk to the folks who've been bought and sold by a world that doesn't care. If you're living in your car, you'll find what you need at the Victoria Bar. I'm only a heart away from homeless. I'm only a hand away from the street. Just a meal away from starvation. If not for the company that I keep. If not for the company that you keep. If not for the company we all keep.
Oh,
Yay!
Thank you.
Love the voice.
I wrote that in a bar when I was living in my car. It's so easy to be a musician. Just be broke and homeless.
Yeah, because it gives you plenty of material. That's why, and it's also very easy to be a Patriot Talk radio show host because there's no shortage of stuff to get angry about.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I feel like
festival out there.
it's very therapeutic, you know. I mean, if we didn't have, you know, us to hang out with and to talk about what's really going on with, I couldn't stay sane.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
You know, sanity is about, like, you know, making fun of what's going on and looking at the absurdity of the whole affair. And, oh, they're trying to kill us. Yeah, there's a small elite at the top and they control everything and they're trying to kill us. And you run around, you can't say that at Best Buy. You know, you can't, like, just, you know, turn to the lady in the line at Whole Foods and say, by the way, did you know that they're trying to kill us?
I do it all the time and they just laugh at me.
Pretty funny. I mean, if you do, it'd be great for YouTubes, you know, I want to do more when I get to Nashville, because I want to go to Nashville here. We're going to hook up with Smokey, you know, at the end of the month or so. And I want to do more man on the street YouTubes. You know what I'm saying? Just like walk up to
walking
people.
Around, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Especially if you had a guitar with you. You know?
Oh, especially if you had a guitar. Especially if we had Vinny and his wit, you know what I mean? And that would be fun, Vinny. You could, like, do a man on the street with a guitar player, and you could, like, make up songs right on the spot.
Yeah, well, I do that from time to time. Like, seriously, somebody can just can just start playing an instrument, and I'll start singing a song that I'm making up.
Hey,
Speaking of
That's
that,
what
Alan,
I
is
think.
that
Keep going.
Right? That's Alan with the guitar, right?
Yeah, keep going,
that's-
Alan.
let's do,
Yeah,
okay,
Alan.
let's see how let's see, Karen, what he does in the verses, hey? So we go, war will cease, every day we make a choice. Will we remain silent or raise our voice? War will cease. Keep going.
Well, the only thing is, I think there's a big delay. If two people are singing, they have to be from the same location. Otherwise, you get the delay behind it. Wasn't there a delay just now when I tried to do a harmony with them, guys?
Yep. They have to be in the same country.
Oh, we'll just have to cut the record then and put the video out then.
Well, I know, but I want to hear every day we make a choice. I really do.
Yeah, sing us a song, Alan.
Yeah,
really do.
Go ahead, Alan. I won't be able to put in the other parts yet because it'll be too much of a delay. But you got the guitar and stuff there, so go for it. And actually, if you
I'll
stop
sing
playing,
what we got, and then what I'll do is I'll go into the verse, which is just in F sharp minor, and just see what Vinny and what happens. Okay, I'll do it rhythmically. War will cease every day we make a choice. Will we remain silent or raise our voice? War will cease, posing murder, promoting peace. When there's enough of us, war will cease. Right, let's go.
Raise your voices, everyone. Tell the elites that they are scum. Always believe in yourself. Don't put yourself back on that shelf. Oh.
They're scum, yeah.
Hasn't got lyrics.
New World Order, they really do smell.
And I can say that they just must go to hell. They're slapping and skittering and acidic like bile.
And we need to put them all on
conceive that
trial.
their schemes are vile.
War will cease.
Every day we make a choice. Will we be silent or raise our voice? This must sound so weird to people listening going, man, what's up with the delays and music from everywhere?
But he did that without any bloody lyrics.
He did well.
Karen didn't even give him a lyric sheet. That was great.
It may be out of sync, but it's coming from all over the world, baby.
It's coming from the heart, with passion. All right, ready? Let's call the New World Order scum with passion now. One more time, with feeling.
It is. The New World is scum.
The scum.
The new scum order.
The new scum.
There's only 5,000 of them. Why don't we fly them off to Mars?
Right.
No. See, then there'd just be all right. Look at it this way. It doesn't matter how the elite have got it planned; they're all going to be screwed in the end. Here's why: if their plan is to wipe everybody out and go into their deep underground military bases underneath the airports in Denver or something like that, what do you think is going to happen when you get 5,000 raping, lying, thieving scumbaggery, pedophile filth in a frickin' hole together?
Yeah.
They're going to run out of...
the perfect definition of hell.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I've had that same thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you guys just stay down there forever. We'll just stay here. We'll make sure you don't come out again.
Exactly.
We'll plug up the holes.
Yeah, there's 4 big half-inch bolts on the lid to that little hell, and we'll just crank them down, baby.
Yeah, love that.
Too, if you want, we can share. I can share the words to this. And Alan has, Alan, if you want to play the music, I can just share the words, and then when we get it all together, we're going to put it out. And Alan's got a good knack for making the lyrics, but I came up with the words. You guys want to hear them?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Every day we make a choice. Will we be silent or raise our voice? Opposing murder, promoting peace. When there's enough of us, war will cease. War will cease. When there's enough persistence, when there's enough resistance, we may think we abhor it, but when we ignore it time after time, then we're part of the crime against humanity. If you look, you'll see this is a tragedy against you and me. But we can be free. We can be free. Alan, quick, do the chorus.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Good job,
that's what feels like tribal, right? Tribal dance beat, you know, like really dancey. And then it goes into the catchy, war will cease every day we make a choice. Will we remain silent or raise our voice? War will cease, posing murder and promoting peace. When there's enough of us, war will cease. My God, it's like a jingle.
They trained us to pay for it. Wait, trained us to pay for it. Trained us to slave for it. We're all betrayed for it. We dig our grave for it. So we got a lot of stuff in there.
DVDs for 1995.
I think the guys get the idea, don't you? You get the idea that it's kind of like a dancey thing. It's very dancey, tribally, and then it goes into that chorus. But in the middle, it's like someone with a big megaphone, like, you know, like Vinny with his megaphone going, when there's enough of us, when there's enough resistance, when there's enough persistence.
Hey, Alin, maybe we could each make, like our little, you know, sort of like the We Are the World. So maybe we could each sing a verse, and Karen, you could record a YouTube or some sort of video on your end. We could do it here in Colorado. Vinny could do his part, and then Alin, you could put the whole thing together somehow into a YouTube.
I'm absolutely not against that, but I you know, it's a 50-50 with Karen, so you're going to have to get Karen's permission too. it's her lyrics, and the song together, so.
No, I love the idea of collectively putting things together this way and getting some music out there that really has a message. And it's fun, you know, it hits people in the hearts and the souls, and we need solutions now to get into the cellular level and to rise to the occasion of stepping into the 21st century and the miraculous creative beings that we are once we remember.
Yeah,
you know what?
The cellular level as opposed to the old yellow level.
That's it.
We could do it. We could actually do it as a Musicians for Freedom record and YouTube video as well. Big video behind it and put it out and really promote the thing. But if everyone did, you know, if everyone did a part of it, a little bit like the way they did that for Christmas time, you know, like when they did that.
The We Are the World thing. We could get all the We Are Changers all over the place to do it because, you know, We Are Change. I was thinking about, you know, that Kennedy. You know how John F. Kennedy. He did that speech where he talked to the press club about how you guys, I'm trusting you to get the message out to the American people, okay, about the vast conspiracy, and I know that you guys are going to, right, remember that? Well,
Little did he know they were all in on it.
Right.
They were all CFR members. Right.
Well, I was thinking about taking that same track of him speaking, okay, that classic that we've heard his voice speaking that, you know, over and over and over, and behind it put videos of all the We Are Change groups, have all the We Are Change groups basically, and to be saying, you are the media now. He's talking to me and you. We are the media. He's not talking to the press anymore, you know what I mean? It's like, use that same Kennedy speech, but we are who he's talking to.
Yeah, that's interesting, Char.
Wouldn't that make a nice video? So maybe we can get some.
Yes.
When Karen and I were discussing the song, we were talking about the Martin Luther King speech, actually, you know. And you've got a very, very dancey, tribally dancey thing, verse thing, and then it goes into that catchy chorus that I just sang. But yeah, the more the better, I think. It's a great idea.
I do too.
Hey, and one other thing that, you know, if you guys want to start Musicians for Freedoms in your area, that'd be awesome. You know, on Facebook, I started a few community pages. I've got maybe 15 of them out there, you know, and I can't keep up with it at all. So it's like Musicians for Freedom Arizona, Musicians for Freedom Texas. And I'm lucky when somebody comes along and adopts those pages, you know what I mean? And they adopt them. And so if you guys want to, you know, start your Musicians for Freedom Switzerland or Musicians for Freedom Germany, Detlev, you know, please have at it. Take it off, do it, have at it.
Thank you. Well, we'll make a YouTube of that one as well, so, you know, it's going to spread.
Here's another idea for you.
I realized the other day.
I like the way these ideas are coming out live on the air as well. I mean, this is called synchronicity.
Oh, yeah.
Take these ideas and steal them. Steal these ideas, somebody out there.
Here's another one for you. We've got, you know...
Don't steal our song, we'll sue the hell out of you.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, Homeland Security is cracking down on copyright violations, so, you know, they might come after us with those, you know, but... Anyway, an idea is, you know, the cabal has introduced their agenda for the 21st century, right? Their idea of how the 21st century should go down, right? So we should make our alternative agenda for the 21st
Oh, I
century.
love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Agenda
I actually
25.
have a document on my computer that I'm writing called Agenda 23.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
I
right.
love it. We need
And,
that.
part of the agenda was NGOs are banned.
Yes.
You're not going to be allowed to get together and plan what we're doing with the sheeple, stuff
right.
like that. There's
That's
an
a
agenda
good
for the 21st century.
And another
Corporation
agenda
of
is another agenda of mine is to change the connotation of the word conspiracy theorist, because I realized yesterday that I'm a conspiracy theorist and
Oh, I
proud.
am too.
All
I'm
right?
proud of it.
And we should change the meaning of conspiracy theorist to a good thing by being proud, loud, cool, and fun.
Wow.
Well, I was thinking about doing something like that, like a YouTube basically that says, like my conspiracy theories, and just put them right out there, like illustrated, like here's all my conspiracy theories. I have a theory of this, and I have a theory of that, and I have a theory of this, and you know what I mean? And just, always, just be bold.
Okay,
Right.
I have,
so
I have a
then,
conspiracy theory about everything. Literally, everything. Somebody can tell me something about anything and I'll come up with a conspiracy theory about it. It's what
But
I
as soon
do.
as you get, one bit of evidence, though, it's not a theory anymore, isn't it? It's a probability.
No, it's unfortunate.
Maybe
I don't like
conspiracy
dealing in
research
facts and
scientists.
evidence because
It clouds the issue.
okay, guys, time to wrap up.
don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Everybody has a chance to shout out the website, and then we are over with the show.
Musicians for Freedom.
Musiciansforfreedom.com.
Right, and Winnie
Guerrillamedia.co.nz.
and Karen.
Taxfree15.com, UnitedWeStrike.com, and I'll be hosting for Rick Adams tomorrow night at 7. Maybe Sharlene, you can join me there. We'll have to talk after the program.
All right.
Yeah,
Alan.
and Alan.
English Riviera, start again. EnglishRivieraProductions.co.uk, and Vinny, for God's sake, Agenda 23, we got to wait 200 years for this stuff?
Yeah. What's up with that?
No. What we'll do is we'll just do what the Romans did back in the day and change the calendar that everybody lives their life by inextricably.
Hey,
just say that it is 100 years in the future.
Okay.
Okay.
That's another
thanks a
part
lot.
of Agenda 23.
Thanks a lot. Until the next
calendar.
Sunday, we are over with the show. This is Detlev Wake Newsnet. Thanks for listening to our show. See you. Bye-bye.
This is Musicians for Freedom on UWS Community Radio and the International Community Radio Network.
He was a tall young man with golden hair and kind hazel eyes, totally aware of the 9/11 myth. He'd been there to the peaceful demonstrations and the Glastonbury Fair. An indigo child, just finished uni, job seekers allowance, huge debts for his studies. No chance, no future, clear on his horizon. No criminal record, just peaceful demonstration. So in love with his college sweetheart, always smiling, each day's a new life, helping out his grind on the council allotment, few beers now and then, keeping his nose clean. One bright summer's day, he takes a walk down the river, sees an old man fishing, radiant face like an angel, spots the young man with the smile, they get talking, puts away his things and together they're walking. You got a girl on your mind, the old man says. I know I can tell, reminds me of my young days. Just after the war, we were picking up the pieces. When I met my dear wife, who just passed away recently. What should I do, so I really love her dearly. I wanna get married, and I mean that sincerely. Now ain't got no money, the future just looks grim. The old man looks in his eyes and just tells him, sooner is better than later, to know your truth and get it all over. With an open mind, golden heart full of love, with no shame and nobody else to blame. Life's too short to live just for ego. Spirit knows best what the mind don't want to know. Calls it freedom when there's nowhere else to go. Cradle to grave, reap from what you sow. Sooner is better than later, 'cause it hurts real bad when you're waiting forever for someone to love, to hold and to care for. Chance to give, create, that's what you're here for. And what you are, who it is you mirror, any given time you're always getting nearer to the source, and the flesh doesn't matter. Now's the time, sooner is better. Now's the time, sooner is better.